do me a favor. Go up to your YouTube search bar, type in Premiere Pro How To, and you see all those questions? I'm going to answer them all. But first, let's jump over to the actual computer and not this set that I've created. First up, how to zoom in on a clip. You'd go to the beginning of your clip, or wherever you want the zoom to begin. You click on keyframe at scale and position, that's very important. You'd move a couple frames, 5-6 frames, depending on how long you want the zoom to be. And for this, I'm just gonna move into 125 and then reframe so it's all in frame. That is a very basic zoom, but we can do better than that. And instead, we'll go over to our effects panel and search in transform. And here we do the exact same thing we did before, but shutter angle is your best friend. Stick that all the way up to 360. And if you can see between frames, it gives just a little bit of motion blur within your zoom, making the zoom much more effective. Next up, adding text. Adding text in Premiere Pro is easy. First, you're going to go down to the little sidebar here and hit the typing tool, or T will do just fine. Click wherever you want in the frame and just type away. So this is text. Now, it obviously won't be the font, the color, anything that you want. You'll go back to the selection tool, or V on your keyboard, and now you have access to moving the text around. So we're going to increase the size here a little bit, and within Premiere Pro, by default, wherever you move the text, it will magnify it to one of the center poles of the screen. So we're just going to put it right in the center, right here. Then if you go over to your effects controls panel, here in this drop-down menu is where all of your text options are. So obviously, we're going to stick the text into Comic Sans. Now, I've always found on video, white text with a black stroke generally looks much better in video than the other way around. And here you can change the distance between your actual letters. I generally go into the negatives a little bit just because I like that look. It's all preference based. Underlines, bold, the usual text editing things. Next up, how to crop a video. And with this, we can do one of the most used effects in Premiere Pro, the clone effect. In your effects panel yet again, search in crop, and then in your effects controls, your crop drop-down menu looks like this, and it's all done in percentages. So left brings it in from the left, right brings it in from the right. So to achieve this effect, you need to shoot on a tripod, otherwise this will not work. And then you stack the footage on top of each other, and on the top bit of footage, you will add the crop effect. In this case, the right side makes much more sense to crop into. So we're just going to crop in so that we can see both versions of me. Right here, you can tell that I would have nudged the table. In a situation like that, the edge feather tool comes in very handy, because you just pull that bad boy out and it basically covers it up completely.
And it's pretty convincing.
Next on the list, how to cut clips. This one's a very simple one. You just use the razor tool from the side menu and place your playhead wherever you want to cut and just cut on the playhead. Or you can go into your Premiere Pro settings and change the keyboard shortcut, and mine is just C, so whenever I hit C, there's a cut in the video. Simple. And when there's multiple videos stacked on top of each other, if you hit C, it will only cut the highlighted video. However, if I hit Control C, it will cut all 3 videos in the exact same spot. To change all your keyboard settings, just go into Edit, and then Keyboard Shortcuts, and just search Add Edit. Add Edit is C, and Add Edit to all tracks is Shift plus C, or Control K, but I've never used that in my life. Next up, how to add transitions. Now I'm just going to use the basic pre-installed Premiere Pro transitions. You can download extra transitions, but they're added in a different way, so I'm going to ignore them for now. I can talk about them in the future if you'd like. Take 2 bits of footage with a cut. I know it's the same footage, but just pretend they're 2 bits of footage. And go into your effects, and you've got all of your video transitions here. Ignore the MA ones, those are my installed transitions. The most basic transition is the cross dissolve. You'll just drag that between the 2 clips, and as you can see, it has cross dissolved the clips. Now this only works if there is frames before and after the video finishes, otherwise it'll glitch out. And you can change the duration of the cross dissolve by clicking on the dissolve and dragging just how long you want the cross dissolve to be. I generally have very, very, very short cross dissolves if I use them at all. So I would pretty much be down here. Maybe not that short, but you get what I mean. That's the same for dip to black, dip to white, Film Dissolve. Morph Cut has much more stuff going on because that actually analyzes the frames of both clips and tries to morph them together seamlessly. It doesn't work most of the time. As you can see here, this is what the Morph Cut tries to do. It tries to morph the clips together and it just looks shocking most of the time, so don't use it. Next up is how to slow down a clip. So most people within Premiere Pro will slow down a clip by right-clicking on the clip and going to speed and duration and either changing it from the percentage up here or changing it to a very specific time. Now you could do that, say if I wanted to slow this clip down a bit to 90%, it will do that just fine. However, the way I like to do it, which is much more precise, is to click on the Ripple Edit tool, but hold left click and it will open this side menu and go to the Rate Stretch tool. And then whatever clip you go to, you'll just drag the outside of it and drag it to where you want to slow it, to speed it up, to slow it down. Just be careful how much you do it, because if you shot in 24 frames, there's maybe like a 10% above and under that you can actually go without it looking really strange. This mostly only works with things shot at 60 frames plus, but you know, you can experiment with that yourself. Next up is how to change the aspect ratio of a clip. Now this is pretty much only done when you want to change the delivery aspect ratio. You don't generally do it for a clip-to-clip basis. So that's what I'm gonna do. Say you had this video, but you wanted to upload it to TikTok, but it's actually in a 16:9 aspect ratio. You'd have to create a new sequence in Premiere Pro. As you'd go into your project files, right-click and say New Item Sequence. And we'll have to create a completely new custom sequence because there is no TikTok/phone sequence built into Premiere Pro. So what I would do is I would go to Digital SLR 1080p, because there's no point in uploading to 4K in TikTok. They don't accept those videos. And you'd go to 1080p 30. Now, once you've clicked that, do not click OK, because that will just make a normal 1080p 30 FPS sequence. What you have to do is you've got to go into the settings of the sequence, and you've got to flip the horizontal and vertical. So instead of a 16:9, you'll put 1080p and 1920 for the vertical. So instead of 16:9, it's 9:16. And then keep literally everything else the same. And then click OK. And with that, you have the sequence there. So you need to drag over your video, whether it's an edited video or what, drag it over to here. Do not click change sequence settings, because that will change it to what the video is. It'll just change it back to what we undid. So yes, keep settings. And now you can see that it's completely wrong. There's two ways of reframing the video. The more manual way and the automatic way. I'll show you the manual way first. So you'd come up to your effects controls and you would change the scale of the video and just move it around until it's perfectly aligned within the shot. Or you can reset that completely and you can do it the automatic way. So go into your effects panel and type in reframe and grab the auto reframe effect and bring it into your clip. And it will automatically analyze it for you, and Premiere Pro will be able to tell what the main subject of the video is and keep it in frame. Up next is how to export the video. I'm going to show you how I export two different videos. So first up, we'll do the normal 16:9 video. So with your sequence, what I like to do generally is I put my in and out point where I want the exports to start and begin. However, if you're exporting the whole sequence, that doesn't matter in the slightest because it will just do the whole sequence. But that's just if you want to do a very specific part of the sequence. So once you have what you want to export defined, come up to File and click Export. And then Media. And then it will open up this export menu. So from here on out, you will choose where you want to export it to. You can call it whatever you want. Export. And then you'll click a preset. Now, generally speaking, I would always click Match Source Adaptive High Bitrate. That will give you the most quality out of the video you can. However, in the video settings, if you click More, you can see that the bitrate is 155. For YouTube, anything over 30 is overkill. Now, the definition of bitrate is not really important. It basically just means the higher the bitrate, the less blocky your video is going to look. When a video is lagging behind and it gets all that blocky stuff going on, that's when the bitrate is dropping. So if you have a higher bitrate, your video will look less blocky. But honestly, after 30, it becomes negligible. For example, with these export settings, this 30-second clip will become a gigabyte. That's why, for the most part, I recommend dropping it down to about 30 and the maximum bitrate 35. And then it's 189 megabytes and you cannot tell the difference. And pretty much with that, leave everything else at the default. You can mess with the resolution. I recorded at 6K, so it wants to pop it out at around 6K. But that's what comes with matching source. You can change all that if you want, but I would just stick with what the source is. Make sure your audio is actually going to render out as well, because you don't want audioless video, and leave the rest and then click export. It's very, very similar with a TikTok video. So here, I'm going to click export media, same as before. But again, if you don't click match source, high bitrate, then it will just export in the default mode, which is a 16:9 video, giving you all of this black on either side. And you do not want that, because uploading to TikTok, it will just upload like a normal video and it will look crap, trust me. So again, match source, high bitrate. TikTok, bitrate's even less important because it's on a phone. That's why with the sequence, it defaults to 15.2 megabytes, but it doesn't matter, just hit 15. And that's it. Click export and you're done. And that is that, guys. I know this was some basic sort of Premiere stuff, but I really hope you took at least one thing away from this video. I'm going to be putting a lot more time to this channel, guys. I know I've been sort of very lax on the uploads, considering that all my uploads have been months and months and a year ago. But I am planning on putting a lot more time to this channel. I finally got a setup that I think looks nice on video. I'm pretty much going to use this set to record my videos. So I hope you guys liked it, and if you would, the subscribe button is always there, and it would help me so much, and I would appreciate it a lot. So thank you guys. I'll see you guys, hopefully, in the next video.